message is the constitution of the messenger. Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Sabbath School Study Group. This is part number 3 of our 5-part series. On the road in San Antonio, Texas, and we are seeing God work our faith. And it's the faith that is strong enough, like in the gym, strong enough to keep running, strong enough to keep lifting, strong enough to keep living, because we understand what happens to us whether we live or die. So let's talk about standing, focusing back now on living in this third part, standing in unity. I'm so grateful that we don't have to find our common ground or create a common ground, I should say, but we actually discover what we're supposed to stand on and what brings us together as messengers of Christ. That would simply be the message of Christ. And that message, the gospel, it's like our constitution that guides everything that we do. And if we let that guide everything we do, we will find ourselves doing what we do together. See, in Philippians 1:27, Paul encourages the Philippians to say, only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Christ. So now we're speaking in the light of what? Not the shadow of, but the light of the gospel of Christ. That whether I come and see you or else I be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that you stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for what? For the faith of the gospel. This is God's vision for his church. Paul's prayer was that they will be striving together if we all strive for the same message. In this case, the gospel of Christ. So what does the enemy do? He flips the paradigm and say, well, rather than getting them striving for the gospel, let me get them striving against one another. Let's get that movement. Let's get that pushing towards one another and against one another rather than against their common enemy, their common deceiver. And that's the devil and his darkness and his demons. So when we look at verses like Acts 17, we're reminded he hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. When our struggle finds us struggling against one another, one of the best things we could do is start looking at ourselves through God's eyes. And when God sees us, he does not see where we've come from. That's our nationality. And the amazing thing is that the thing that we probably use the most to separate ourselves from one another, to get us to strive against one another, it is the last thing that God sees. And that's what we call race. Because really, there's no such thing as race. These are labels that we put on one another because there are differences in melanin content, but not in character based on melanin. The word says he's made us of one blood together. But if that wasn't enough, let's go to the second blood. And it says there that they should seek the Lord in Acts 17:27, if they might haply feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. To seek the Lord, not just by virtue of him creating us, but now because he has saved us by his blood. Even if, let's just pretend that our blood mattered, right? We weren't all made of one blood. But we clearly read that before, that that's not the case. But just pretend. When Jesus did what he did on the cross, it totally unites and binds. It would make the bloods irrelevant because it's his blood that covers us all. Now that's if we weren't all of one blood. But the Bible says we are of one blood, made by God, and then we are all saved by only the blood of Christ. So anytime anybody wants to put your race, your culture, your color, or your creed before Christ, it's not biblical. What do I mean when I say that? When I'm talking about being a black Christian, I'm talking about when we say things like I'm an American Christian, or even if we say I am, you say your religion's name, Christian. Nothing should be more important than Christian because that's our constitution. That's what binds us and brings us together. And that constitution is what guides everything else that we are. As great, as amazing, as diverse as that might be, it is not salvific. And more importantly, it's not how God sees us. Brothers and sisters, let's get back to our constitution. Let's get away from all the things that get us striving against one another and instead Let's get in the message that saves all of us, no matter who we are or what we've done.